Hi everybody, this is another newsletter from the Black family. About 2 weeks ago I returned from a 1-month trip to Nigeria, and I thought that this would be good timing to send out a quick update to everybody. We are currently in Colorado staying with my parents, and we've got a little bit of snow on the ground outside. And in fact, Cindy and the other children, they have remained here since our previous newsletter and all this time that I went to Nigeria and over the other surrounding weeks. So I think I'd like to start off with a short report of my journey to Nigeria. And overall, I think that the trip went just about as well as I could have expected. I was definitely excited to visit our school in our hometown there in Nigeria. And those of you that have been following, you know that the staff of our school has continued to operate those classes in our absence. So right now they are in the middle of the discipleship school, which is a 5-month school and is kind of like the bread and butter of our school. It includes computer training and an outreach. And I was very pleased to see that the school was running pretty much what I would have expected it to be. The staff were functioning very well as a team. Relationally, they were keeping short accounts with one another, and they seemed very organized and focused on what they were doing. It also seemed like the students were learning the types of things that we would have expected them to learn in a school like this. So here within 1 or 2 weeks, I think they should be preparing for their outreach. Now, of course, they do also rely fairly heavily on a lot of the scholarships that we were able to raise last year specifically for the purpose of this school. My involvement while I was there, I was primarily there to teach 2 classes. The first one was on romantic relationships, which of course is one of the favorite topics of young adults. I also spent some time talking about conflict resolution. And the other class was biblical worldview, which is one of the more academically challenging topics that we include in the discipleship school. But while I was there, I also was able to sit down, spend some time with the staff, and counsel them a little bit, work on a little bit of leadership development, and help them to kind of refocus in a few areas, resolve a couple of conflicts and things like that. For another couple of weeks, or a little bit more than that, if you remember, I spent in Lagos teaching some biomedical engineering technology students how to use the Raspberry Pi. And I showed this to you in my last video. It's basically just a little computer. It's low power, it's $35. The operating system and all of the files can just fit on an SD card, a micro SD card. This is 16 gigabytes. It has 4 USB ports, so you can hook up a keyboard and a mouse and whatever else you would like. You have an HDMI port to hook up to a monitor. Now, while I was there teaching, I spent a lot of time with these pins that you see over here. These are input and output pins that you can use to drive motors, flash lights, and hook up to different sensors to communicate with like I2C and SPI, if you know what those things are. But a lot of fun for your young adult who likes to tinker with electronic gadgets. It's an educational tool for students also to learn computer programming and networking. So that's what I was doing in Lagos. I had very good feedback from the students and also from the leader of the school that's running this school there in Lagos. By the way, they are the ones that paid for my airline ticket, my international ticket to get to Nigeria. So that was also very helpful for me in arranging this trip to Nigeria. As far as the family goes, we're having a wonderful time here in Colorado. As I said, we've got a little bit of snow on the ground, which is not something that we get to see a lot in Nigeria. The other thing is that it has been since 2006 that we were in the United States for the months of September and October, even parts of November and August. So you know, for us, autumn is one of the most beautiful times of the year, and for the first time in over 10 years, we've been able to witness that. Besides that, as we're, you know, kind of settled here at my parents' house in Colorado, we've found a local church that we feel like we really identify with, that we can participate in over the upcoming months, as well as a homeschool group. In fact, 2 homeschool groups, and we like both of them, and we're kind of hopping back and forth between the 2 of them, which a lot of the people in this area, they do that. And another thing that we have coming up for Thanksgiving is that our family is going to drive to Kansas. It's about a one-day trip, and we're going to visit Cindy's family. Jillian is going to meet us there from college, and also Hannah and Brandon are going to fly and meet us there. So it's going to be a very nice family reunion there with all 6 of our children and our son-in-law. And you guys remember Hannah's pregnant. She's getting a little belly going, so I haven't got to see it yet. I'm looking forward to that. And after Thanksgiving, we will drive Jillian back to Ohio so she can get back to school. And then we're going to take another one day further east to go and visit Long Island for just maybe a short week. Then we're going to head back to Colorado and probably be in Colorado for a period of time after that. Now, before I get to the end of this newsletter, I would like to share some important information with you. Over the last months, Cindy and I have been discussing and trying to make some very difficult decisions regarding the future of the ministry activities that we're involved with in Nigeria. And Cindy and I are very much agreed that by the time of March of 2020, that's about 2.5 years from now, we would like the school in Nigeria to be at a place where we can completely hand that off to somebody else's care, and we can return to the United States to escort Emily so that she can be preparing to enter university, just like what Jillian has gone through this year. And when we do that, it's not certain, but it is very likely that we will take an extended time here in the United States, maybe like 10 years, to allow the rest of our children to finish secondary school and also get off to college. Again, that's not certain. It's just kind of the direction that we're leaning towards. This is something that I wanted to share in the last newsletter, but I hadn't had time to talk to the people in Nigeria about it, and I knew that I was taking that trip to Nigeria, and I wanted to speak to the staff of our school and some of the other community leaders before I broadcasted this all over the internet. One quick thing before I turn this off is some of you also have heard that we've been trying to put a roof on the church that our family has been meeting in our small little village there in Nigeria. That church has gone now through 2 complete rainy seasons meeting in that church with no roof on the church, and we were finally able to secure the funds from an organization some of you have heard of, Christ for the Nations International. This is kind of a program that they do in rural places, putting roofs on churches. And the money has been transferred into the hands of the leaders of the church, and they should be in the process of putting that roof on very quickly. So we're happy to share that little testimony as well. So thank you guys for listening to this newsletter, and we'd love to be in touch with all of you. Thank you for your prayers, and we're also praying for you guys. God bless you.